Can you imagine receiving a phone call telling you that your passport has been linked to a serious crime? Now imagine somebody claiming to be a police officer calling you next. They tell you that you could be arrested. They warn you not to speak to anyone. They send official looking documents. They know that what are your personal details, they know you. Everything appears genuine. Now answer me, what would you do? Well, that nightmare became reality for an Indian American college professor in the United States. According to reports, fraudsters posing as officials from the Indian consulate and police officers convinced the professor that she was under investigation in India. Over several weeks, they kept her under constant psychological pressure, instructed her to remain isolated, and persuaded her just to transfer money into accounts they controlled. By the time she realized that investigations were fake, she has lost nearly about $500. That's a lot. Authorities say that such digital arrest scams are increasingly targeting Indian nationals and Indian Americans by impersonating government officials and using fear to manipulate the victims. Now, think about that. This is not a cyber attack. No computer was hacked, no passport was stolen. Instead, the scammers targeted something much more powerful: human psychology. That's right, they created fear, they created urgency, and they isolated the victim from families and friends. Here, experts say that this is exactly how these scams work. The criminals want the victims to panic before they have time to think logically. And the most shocking part is that this victim was the highly educated professor, and that too in the US. And that reminds us one important lesson here. Scammers do not target the intelligence. No, well, they target the trust, the people who are innocent. In fact, authorities are now warning people never to transfer money because of the unexpected phone calls claiming to come from police or maybe government departments or consulates. Always verify first because one phone call can destroy a lifetime of savings. And yes, while one family became the victim of financial criminal, another group of criminals were targeting Indian families in a very, very different way. Well, from financial fraud, let's now move to another crime that has left many Indian American families living in constant fear. Well, for most people, home is the safest place in the world. It is where families feel secure, where memories are created, where children grow up. But imagine discovering that criminals have been watching your every move before breaking into your house. Well, that's exactly what investigators say happened in Massachusetts. Law enforcement agencies have dismantled a burglary ring accused of specifically targeting Indian Americans and East Asian families. Well, according to investigators, the suspect used sophisticated methods including GPS tracker, hidden cameras, and Wi Fi jammers to monitor victims and disable home security system. Well, authorities say the investigation involved multiple agencies and modern forensic tool to identify those who are responsible. Well, members of Indian American community have welcomed the arrests while also calling for stronger protection against the crime that appeared to disproportionately affect immigrant families. Now think about this. This was not an ordinary burglary. Investigators believe that suspects carefully selected their targets. They allegedly monitored vehicles. They tracked daily routines, studied neighborhoods, and waited for the right opportunity before striking. Community leaders say that many Indian families have become worried because they believe that criminals specifically target home where they expect to find gold jewelry, cash, or valuable items. And that has started an important conversation. Should these crimes receive greater attention or not? Should law enforcement treat repeated attacks on one community differently? Well, following the arrest, community organizations have started creating safety groups, awareness campaign, and stronger partnership with police departments. The message is quite simple here. Every family deserves to feel safe inside their own home. And yes, while police are working to stop organized crime, our next story is about something equally worrying: growing anti India rhetoric in parts of the United States.